Hello Internet, I'm Crack Senior Editor Tom Ryman. I know we've had a lot of laughs together, but today I'm here to talk to you about a serious problem. For some reason, there are a handful of very basic concepts about the adult world that filmmakers have yet to master. They just go at their subject matter like a kid playing with a bunch of action figures, making up what seems like the correct rules for grown-up land to better suit their stupid infant baby game, because that's what movies are. Baby games. Number 5. Nobody knows how money works. Watching The Dark Knight Rises is like watching a 6-year-old trying to write white-collar crime fiction. I understand it's a Batman movie, and Batman operates in a sort of heightened reality where terrorists dress up in Halloween costumes and commit themed atrocities, but that's why they generally blow up circuses instead of making complicated financial attacks. Because the people who write Batman movies have no idea how any of that stuff works. For instance, Bane stages a terrorist attack against the stock exchange. The next day, all of Bruce Wayne's shares are suddenly for sale, and the FDIC doesn't see a problem with this. They would have instantly connected the share oddities to the terrorist attack and shut down all trading until the extent of the damage was learned. They wouldn't let people just resume trading the next morning. Also, Bruce Wayne is immediately penniless. They show up to repossess his car at Wayne Tower. This is a man who, in the same series of films, purchased a hotel with a personal check. There is no way Bruce Wayne leased his Lamborghini. That was a birthday gift to himself that he may or may not have paid for by buying the entire dealership. The bank also forecloses on Wayne Manor, a mansion which, according to Alfred, has been in the Wayne family for generations. Although apparently there's still a lien on it. The Waynes just don't own that joint free and clear. Sure, it burned down in the first movie and he had to rebuild the whole thing, but wouldn't insurance cover most of that? You're telling me Bruce Wayne doesn't have a $1 billion policy on a house that's been in his family for hundreds of years? Furthermore, the power company shuts off his lights within like a day or two, which you legally cannot do even if the person just went broke. The power company doesn't sit around waiting for a phone call from the bank telling them that you just lost all your money. Correction, that all of your stock holdings were stolen in a terrorist attack. You have to default on your payment first, and then they're required to give you several days notice before they just disconnect your service, because shutting off the power can put people's lives in danger. Also, Bruce Wayne has no personal wealth, no bank accounts, no trust fund, no liquid assets to speak of. His entire fortune was dependent on those Wayne Tech stocks. There isn't a single fucking safe in Wayne Manor. Rhetorical question, we know there's a safe. We've seen it. When Catwoman tries to steal Martha Wayne's pearls while dressed like the opening credits to wealthy pornography. They even take all of his furniture, because that's what happens when people go broke in movies. The bank just comes to your house and takes everything, regardless of whether or not you actually have any outstanding loans on which you offered your antique millionaire chairs as collateral. Goddamn Dark Knight Rises. Number 4, the police have weirdly stupid rules. In virtually every movie and TV show about cops ever produced, the police are required to read people their Miranda rights when they arrest them, or else the arrest doesn't count. Cops only have to Mirandize a suspect when they're about to question them. If you don't, their testimony is inadmissible. That's it. Well, that's not it. It's actually a pretty big deal, but it doesn't mean that the arrest doesn't count and you have to let them go. Yet that dumb, non-existent rule continues to show up in movies. It's like we have this block that prevents us from learning too much about how the police actually work. 21 Jump Street is by no means meant to be an authentic police procedural, but a huge plot point hinges on the fact that Jonah Hill forgets to Mirandize a suspect when he arrests him, and therefore is forced to let the dangerous drug-dealing murderer go free. This movie came out in 2012. They could have typed any part of that into Google. Oh. Looks like the police don't automatically have to release you if they forget to say their magic police spell. Also, every time movie cops come into contact with bricks of heroin or cocaine, they always taste it to make sure it's actual contraband and not a time-wasting sack of sugar. Real police don't do that because A, that's a sack full of heroin, friend, and B, that's a good way to get yourself poisoned because you have no idea what's been put into that batch. Why would that be the way to test the drugs? That's what labs are for. You don't lick the bloodstains at a murder scene, let CSI get in there. Yeah! Number 3, people speak nonsense to bartenders. No one in movies orders drinks correctly. Everybody uses fancy drink terms with no knowledge what they actually mean because it sounds cool to stroll up to the bar and say, "Give me whiskey," straight up. If you ask a bartender for a shot of whiskey straight up, they're gonna ask you to clarify what the hell you want, because that term is gibberish. Let's break it down. When you order a drink up, that means in a martini glass, or pretty much any glass with a stem. Straight just means straight from the bottle, or don't put anything else in there, which of course they wouldn't if you asked for a shot of whiskey. They would assume you just wanted the whiskey. It's the same thing as ordering a drink neat, but neat doesn't sound as cool, so people in movies don't say it. Ordering a drink straight up doesn't mean fresh squeezed alcohol or extra booze or anything. You're not telling the bartender to stir your gin with the matchstick-stained fingers of a private detective. All you're asking to do is hand you an expensive puddle of burning liquid in a fancy stiletto glass. You might want it chilled because that's literally the only reason to ask for a drink in a glass with a stem, but you probably don't because you're an infant baby person repeating something you heard in a movie. Number 2, people in movies use phones like f***ing monsters. People in movies hang up on each other in the middle of phone conversations because that's apparently what important professional adults do. Seriously, go through any movie or TV show and count the number of times people actually say goodbye or literally any other word indicating the conversation has ended before hanging up their phones. It looks cool because it makes it seem like the characters are busy and important with busy and important adult things. They just don't have the time to let their friends and coworkers know they've finished speaking to them, or that they've had some kind of breakthrough that's about to blow this case wide open. But as you may have noticed, this is not a thing that grown-ups do unless they're angry with each other or actively being murdered. Try hanging up on your mom or your best friend at the end of a random sentence. You know what? Don't even do that. Just try hanging up on anyone you know. The very first thing that's gonna happen is that person's gonna call you back and say, "Oh my God, is everything okay? We got cut off there. I don't know if you're mad at me or if you're currently being stabbed to death, but either way, I felt the abrupt way in which your terminator interaction required a follow-up conversation." Every time Fox Mulder hangs up on Scully in the middle of Scully frantically shouting his name, you can bet the next time they speak, Scully is gonna be like, "I have been trying to call you for 3 hours. I thought you were dead. I thought my best friend in the whole world was lying dead in a vampire mansion. Couldn't have farted out one tiny extra word to let me know you're okay before hanging up the phone, Fox? Your breakthrough was so urgent you couldn't say, 'Hey, I've had a breakthrough. I'll call you back later.'" Terrible way to conduct yourself. Number 1, crimes against children don't count if you're related to them and you're sorry. Lawyers and judges in certain movies have been known to excuse the main character's litany of dangerous crimes as long as they can prove they've come out of the whole experience as a better person. Robin Williams in Mrs. Doubtfire gets to see his kids again, despite the fact that he committed several acts of fraud and defied a court-ordered custody agreement in order to dress up as an old woman and continue living in his ex-wife's house. Because the kids are sad. Sally Field gives him the old "Sally Field was mad at you, but she can see you've learned your lesson" speech, and she goes to the judge to appeal the custody ruling. But no judge in the universe would agree to that. This man disguised himself as a British nanny to spy on his ex-wife and their children. The court wouldn't suddenly reverse its decision just because the parents decide they're not mad at each other anymore. That's the exact reason why family court exists. The same thing happens in Big Daddy. Kind of. Adam Sandler kidnaps a child by pretending to be Jon Stewart, masquerading as the kid's biological father in order to keep him illegally imprisoned in his home. He proceeds to feed the kid nothing but garbage for weeks, and then names the kid Frankenstein. F***ing Frankenstein. The kid is like 6, he already has a name, he's not a rescue dog. Anyway, when Sandler inevitably gets arrested and has to go to court to explain the completely indefensible thing he did, all of his friends appear as character witnesses to testify just how much Adam Sandler learned during this whole kerfluffle. His ancient lawyerly father even makes an appearance to shit all over him before begrudgingly admitting that, yeah, he's a good dad. We get half of a moment of reality when the judge is like, that's nice, but prison shall be your reward today. When Jon Stewart suddenly realizes that the kid was his all along and tells the judge he doesn't want to press charges, saving Adam Sandler from a trip to the big house. I mean, it's great that Jon Stewart doesn't want to press charges, but Adam Sandler still kidnapped a child and defrauded social services in order to keep that child. It doesn't matter that your child's father forgave you or that you reconnected with your own father in the witness stand. You stole a person from the government. At the very least, they're gonna make you fill out some kind of form. Hey everyone, thanks for watching that video. Fun fact, there is the solution to a centuries-old murder mystery hidden somewhere in there, so go back and watch it carefully and let us know what you think the answer is in the comments below. Also like and subscribe. None of what I just said is true, at all. I don't know why I said that. Something compelled me to do it. I think we all just better get out of here and pretend none of this happened.